Hello, and welcome to today's special report. We're here to talk about one of the most infamous financial scams in history, the Ponzi scheme and the Bernard Madoff Act. If you've never heard of it before, don't worry, we're going to give you all the details you need to know. The Ponzi scheme is named after Charles Ponzi, an Italian immigrant who arrived in the United States in 1903 with just $2.50 in his pocket. He quickly became known for his charm and his ability to convince people to invest in his latest business venture. But before diving deep into our video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with our latest videos. And this how it starts. Ponzi guarantees for his investors returns of up to 50% in just 45 days. Ponzi claimed that he had discovered a way to make huge profits by buying international postal reply coupons and redeeming them for stamps that could be sold at a higher price in the US. He convinced thousands of people to invest in his scheme, promising them huge returns on their investment. But here's the thing, Ponzi wasn't actually making any money from his supposed business venture. Instead, he was using the money from new investors to pay off the earlier investors, creating the illusion of huge returns. This is known as a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme, and it's illegal because it's unsustainable. Eventually, the scheme collapses when there aren't enough new investors to pay off the earlier ones. Ponzi's scheme collapsed in 1920, and he was eventually convicted of fraud and sentenced to 5 years in prison. But his legacy lived on, and the term Ponzi scheme is still used to describe any scam that involves paying off earlier investors with the money from new investors. One of the largest Ponzi schemes in history was the Madoff investment scandal. Bernard Madoff was a prominent financier and former chairman of the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, who was found to have been running one of the largest Ponzi schemes in history. Madoff's investment company, Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities LLC, had operated for over 20 years and taken in tens of billions of dollars from thousands of investors before the scheme was uncovered in 2008. Madoff's scheme promised investors steady returns of between 8% to 12% per year, but in reality, he was using new investors' money to pay off earlier investors and create the illusion of steady returns. This classic Ponzi scheme was able to run for so long because Madoff was able to create an air of exclusivity and secrecy around his investment firm, leading many investors to believe that they were part of an elite group with privileged access to his investment strategy. However, the scheme began to unravel in 2008 when the financial crisis hit and many investors attempted to withdraw their money from Madoff's firm. When Madoff was unable to meet these withdrawal requests, his sons reported the scheme to the authorities. Madoff was arrested in December 2008 and charged with 11 counts of fraud, money laundering, perjury, and theft. There were many red flags and warning signs that should have alerted investors and regulators to the fraudulent nature of Madoff's investment scheme. For example, Madoff's investment returns were consistently high, even during times of market turmoil, which should have been a warning sign for savvy investors. In addition, Madoff was secretive about his investment strategy and refused to allow independent auditors to examine his books, which should have raised suspicions. Despite these warning signs, Madoff was able to continue his Ponzi scheme for decades, defrauding thousands of investors of billions of dollars. The Madoff scandal was a wake-up call for many investors and regulators, highlighting the importance of thorough due diligence, transparency, and independent oversight in the financial industry. It also led to increased scrutiny of investment firms and more stringent regulations to protect investors from similar frauds in the future. One important lesson from the Madoff case is the importance of diversification in investing. Many of Madoff's victims had put all their money into his investment scheme, leaving them with no other assets to fall back on when the scheme collapsed. It's important for investors to have a diversified portfolio of assets to protect against the risk of a single investment or scheme collapsing. Another lesson is the importance of being vigilant and questioning investment opportunities that seem too good to be true. Madoff's investment returns were consistently high, even during times of market turmoil, which should have been a warning sign for savvy investors. It's important to do thorough due diligence and research any investment opportunity before handing over your hard-earned money. In conclusion, Ponzi schemes have been a scourge on the financial industry for over a century, preying on unsuspecting investors and causing devastating financial losses. The cases of Charles Ponzi and Bernard Madoff are a stark reminder of the dangers of investing in something that appears too good to be true and the importance of thorough due diligence, transparency, and independent oversight in the financial industry. While regulations and increased awareness have made it more difficult for Ponzi schemes to operate, they continue to surface from time to time. It's important for investors to remain vigilant and do their research before investing their hard-earned money in any scheme. By staying informed and asking the right questions, investors can help to prevent financial fraud and protect themselves from devastating financial losses. The lessons learned from the Ponzi schemes of the past can help us to build a better financial future for all. With increased awareness and transparency, we can work to prevent financial fraud and create a more equitable and trustworthy financial industry. Thank you for watching, and please stay informed and vigilant when it comes to your investments. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with the latest financial news and analysis. Keep learning and stay competitive with us.